No, I was gonna ask like, so we're talking certification burnout. Is there a solution for it? Or is it just something that you got to push through and kind of like get over it?
Hey, what's going on, Tech Fam? This is Just My Tech Sense, and I am going to let Johnny do the introduction today. So, again, we are early in this thing, and we're experimenting and just trying to figure this thing out. So bear with us. We'll get better over time, but for what it is right now, we're doing what we do. So, Johnny, Tech, take it away.
What up, Tech Fam? This is Johnny Tech. I'm here with my guy.
What does Tech? What up? What up?
And this is Just My Tech Sense, where we talk tech and finance. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man.
Good.
I can't complain.
You did good on that. You did good. You did good. You not complaining? You can't complain? What's going on?
Can't complain, man. You know, got me a nice workout in the day. Energy is flowing. So,
okay.
You know.
What'd you work today?
Did chest. I did a nice chest workout.
Chest, tries.
Chest tries, a little bit of shoulder, so it's kind
push
of
day.
upper body work. Yeah, push day.
Okay, yeah,
I got it in, man. So you know,
that's what's up.
Try to keep that going, man. You know,
yeah,
health is wealth.
That's right. That's availability, right? When we talk in cybersecurity, we talk in CIA, right? Confidentiality, integrity, and availability, man.
I know, man.
And sometimes non-repudiation.
Right.
You know, they're trying to add that non-repudiation onto it, but. Yeah, man, it's always good to see you, man.
Look at what always it does good. Take, man. Dropping the CIA triad.
Dropping the nuggets. Dropping the nuggets.
Nah, but today we want to dive into certification burnout.
Yeah.
You know, everyone that's out there, you're getting your certifications, you're
it's a real thing.
You know, you get one certification, you're renewing certifications. Shoot. I mean, the burnout in that though, like I mean, you just get. Is it tiring?
Man. So yeah, you know, it's like you think that once you get a certification, you're good, right, and then something else pops up because technology is ever evolving, right? Mm-hmm. So again, you know, before it was. Get your CCNA. Mm-hmm. You'll be gold, right? I mean that is the cert to have.
I heard that so many times. Oh, get your CCNA.
Get your CCNA.
You write your own ticket.
Write your own ticket. right.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna get the CCNA.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you started studying. I mean, the big one for me was I was actually in Qatar. I'm like, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna start working on these certs. So I have been, and it's a little bit my fault, but you know, just how things change so fast. Because you mentioned staying and how things is ever changing. I'm working on my MCSA, so I'm over there studying.
What's that?
That's your Microsoft certification.
What's it? Microsoft Certified System Administrator, something like that?
Some along those lines.
Okay.
It's for if you want to be a system administrator.
A lot of acronyms, right?
Yeah,
these
they're
certifications.
All I know it's a Microsoft certification that you need when you're trying to be a system administrator.
There you go.
That's what I was doing in the past, and I'm literally working the and I didn't get the acronym down, but because I'm working the certification, and then halfway through. Because I'm overseas, you have information there, but my boy comes over like, hey man, you know that's going away.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So there's the test is already expired for that. So I'm like right in the cusp. So I end up like, oh, you have to get to Azure now. So I'm like, what? I've just been studying here. Now I have to switch over and get Azure. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting a little bit fed up with kind of like how things are just. I mean, you got to get used to the change. Yeah. But that's just like an instance where I was literally working something and then find out like, okay, all the studying you just did for that. I mean, it may help you, but you need to switch over and then Azure is mainly you're talking cloud. So, but that was the equivalent certification.
Yeah. So I just remember when I first got in back in 2009, it was or 2008, 2009, it was CCNA. Mm-hmm. CCNA all day. Right, you get that, you're good. Right, and as you said, things move. Right, it went from CCNA to CISSP. Right, and then if you're in the project management space, you got PMP. Right, and then you got to sit there and you got to look and see, okay, what do I need in order to keep up with these certs? What continuing education credits do I need? Because each one has a different requirement in order to make sure that your certification doesn't expire. Because that's one thing that I will not allow happen is to have that CISSP expire. Right. Period. All my other certifications, they can expire. That one is not going to expire.
Right. Too much work.
Again, I don't even feel like I passed that test. But it's the computer said that I did, so I'm going with it. It just felt like I was failing it the entire time. But regardless of that, that's that one cert. But again, that's one thing. But as technology continues to evolve, so do these certifications. And I pause for a second because sometimes I feel like it's just a money grab. Right. I mean, sometimes it feels like with all the hundreds of certifications that are out there, it feels like a money grab because you got maintenance fees. Right, and that can be anywhere from $50 to $150 a year. Right, and yeah, you can write that off on taxes. But regardless, it still hurts your pockets when you're
right. And then like if you're in the industry, they want you to like you're getting your CEUs but those are your maintenance fees. But like, okay, if I'm doing these, like, what's the knowledge loss if I'm in the field? Like if I have Security Plus, I need to renew it. But like, why would I need to go back and pay these fees when I know the knowledge? The test should say, "Oh, you learned the knowledge." So I feel like always having to renew it sounds good, but you shouldn't have to pay as much, for the renewal. Because sometimes if you're doing it year by year, that adds up. Absolutely. So you get your 3 years, but at the same time, those maintenance fees, those are like a yearly thing. So
So we're talking about certification burnout. So I know that is something that I experience, and I don't even know if I need all these certifications. I am just, I'm going to use an analogy, right? And I know you are the one that typically does the analogies, but I'll let for me, since you did the lead when it came to this podcast, for me it's like sitting at a table having a buffet, right? And for me, being in the government space and just knowing that I can get these certifications on the government's dime to better myself, I have an issue. Like I just cannot seem to stop applying for different certifications and studying for certifications. And a part of me, and that I struggle with it, is, again, it's money-wise, right? It's being paid for. My struggle is there's a time commitment that I have to now, I have to consider when I'm trying to get these certifications. So just for situational awareness, I'm studying for my GCIH. I'm also studying for my CISA. I've enrolled in CRISC, CRISC. And then I'm also looking at getting GPEN or GSNA. And so here, not to cut you off, but here's the question. But you did cut me off.
Hey man, well it's how it is sometimes. I want this is what the people are going to know. They're like, he's getting all these certifications. He's burnt out. Why are you getting all the certifications? Like, what are the benefits of you grabbing all these certifications?
So for me, like, one, I'm not getting the certification just to get the certification. For me, it's about the information that these certifications have. Right. The certifications I do have, right, CISA is a Certified Information Systems Auditor. Right. I don't have an auditing cert, but GSNA is also an auditing cert. But GSNA is also a SAN cert, and it gives me 4 months of hands-on knowledge when it comes to auditing. CRISC is risk management, right? So I have CSSP and I have CCSP and I have all these other certifications. Right. But this one is the one that is specific to risk, right? So I feel like as it being a part of my arsenal, it just makes me better. Right. At the same time, I know that I have to study for a test versus just studying to study. Studying to study is easy for me, but knowing that there's a target that I have to hit. Right. By a certain date, again, it can snowball. Right. So I'm bringing up those questions because I actually agree with you. Like, especially like you said, if you have any of your companies reimbursing you for these or paying for them, I think it's a good thing because the certifications, to me, you can't get burnt out, but it does feel good to understand something and then have something to show. Like, hey, I understand this information. So it's like when you go on your interviews or wherever you're going, you could talk about. It kind of just gives you that Come on, man. Jeez, you got it. You got it. It kind of gies you that the validation. Validation. My bad, man. You got it, man. You got it. We not. It kind of gives you that validation. Like, hey, I have the information. I learned it, and I know it. Right. Yeah. So I think that's definitely a good thing. Yeah. So I agree with you. Like, if you had the opportunity to get the certifications, that I can see how that can cause the burnout because like your brain is constantly moving. You're not really taking a break, so you can get burnout with anything. But it's like that's a good thing to have burnout on because you're
you're getting better.
Yeah.
It's like you're pushing through. So
yeah, and I'm not, and this is not to fake the funk, right? I'm not trying to get at this point a cloud cert. Yeah, I got CCSP, but that is holistically security plus, or I'm not security plus, but it's security in the cloud, right? Or cybersecurity in the cloud, right? And we know that the cloud is just a network, right? It's just a data center. So CCSP is applicable to what I have done over the years. Now, when it comes to AWS or Azure or Google Cloud, I'm not trying to get those certifications right now because I just don't have the experience with them, the hands-on with them. Right. And I don't want to put on my resume that I have this experience, and then the expectation is that I know, the cloud like that. I don't at this point. I'm willing to learn it, but that's if I'm in a job that requires that. If I'm not in a job that doesn't require that, then I'm not going to sit here and try and get these other certifications. So the ones that I'm trying to get, they are a validation of everything that I've done over the 17 years of doing cybersecurity. Right. So it makes it a little bit easier because again, it all kind of falls into the same realm. So I get it. But at the same time, these are different companies with different tests. ISC Square, their test is totally different than ISACA. ISACA's tests are totally different than CompTIA. Right. No, so again, just trying to study and trying to figure out, okay, which way they're going to go with this makes it tough. So again, for me, that burnout is definitely there and trying to get, so I got Agile Certified Practitioner back in January. Right. And then I got PMP back in December. Right. So that's just continuing. I know it's a whole new year, but that's still continuing on with these certifications that I've been studying for the past, year. And
you mentioned like the different certification bodies. So like, does that affect your studying? Like as far as like how they present the test to you? So I could see like, cause I have mostly CompTIA and then the Splunk. So like, I feel like understanding their test, it kind of makes it like, it's one study method for those particular tests, how they're going to answer questions. Right. So if you're switching up from your CompTIA, SANS, like I feel like that could be a big thing too.
Yeah, it is. And again, if you've never taken a SANS cert, they're open book, but they give you a lot of books. Right. So your index is the biggest thing. Making sure that you have a really thought out, planned index that you can go to when they're asking a question. You need to go back to whether it's book 5 or book 1 or however many books is in that course. ISC Square, there's really no preparation for the types of questions that CSSP or CCSP is going to give you. You just have to go with the knowledge that you have, go with the experience that you have, and then take the test. Right. And go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, like, so we're talking certification burnout. Is there a solution for it? Or is it just something that you got to push through and kind of like get over it?
I don't even think I need all these certifications. Right. Just to be totally honest, I just don't think that I need it. But with the time that I have, and again, just for me wanting to validate my experience, I just do it. I think the solution is to not do all the certifications. You don't need them. Right. You really don't. You get your CISSP. If you're in cybersecurity, you get your CISSP. You're good. But if you want to be an auditor, then you need to look at getting an auditing cert like CISA. So I would say, get the minimum required amount of certifications, that's required for your job that you're doing.
Career path that you're looking to go down. Yeah. Grab those certifications. If you want to do a quick change over, you're looking for a new position, maybe start grabbing those certifications. But I could definitely see it diving into all the information at one time. I could definitely see how that could be tough. So, if we're just as an overall, do you think it's a problem with the certification bodies? You think they're like I know you mentioned it could be somewhat of a money thing. You think it's becoming too much of that? That's why because people do feel the need, like I have to go out here and I have to grab all these certifications.
Yeah, no, I feel like, the certifications have been the certifications for a long time. It takes a little bit for them to change. Right. But I do feel like vendors are jumping on board. Man.
There's a lot of certifications jumping out there. Like you got your Google search coming now.
Yeah, but they're not.
We talk about CCNA. They have like 3 or 4. I think they do. Recently, they had like 3 or 4 different. It was just CCNA at one point. Yeah. Now you have your
CCNP but they're not as prevalent. Right. Think about what these employers are asking for. They're not asking for these, CCNPs And then if they do, it's or, right?
Right.
You know, the ability to obtain this or to have, you know, preferences is to have this or, not and.
Right. So I think so from your perspective, I think that you've been in the industry, you know, almost 2 decades. So you understand what companies are looking for and the experience that you have and how certifications help you. But a lot of people out there, when they're just beginning and they might have certification burnout for just trying to figure out which certification do they need to go get. Yeah. So I think that's something that we can touch on as well. Like what certifications are, because they don't know what companies are necessarily looking for. So they're seeing like, oh, CompTIA, Security Plus. Let me grab Security Plus, A Plus, Network Plus, CYSA, and Server Plus. You know, they're all out there. And then CCNA is kind of doing or Cisco is kind of doing the same thing where there's multiple different they're like have a full certification package that's out there. Yeah. So I think that is a little bit of burnout that some people are getting, and that's something that I would like to know from the people, like what are some of the things that they're thinking, and maybe we can provide some feedback to them and say like what's most valuable and things along those lines.
Yeah, and I think there's a larger problem than burnout. I think people taking the test is probably even a bigger issue. Just take the test, right? Because there are some people that are intimidated by the test, or they just don't know how to study for the test, right? The problem that I have is probably a good problem, right? It's like I'm actually taking the test, but for me, it's a lot of damn time. It's a lot of time, right? And time is one thing that you do not get back. And I do know that with me transitioning out the military and just being able to get these certifications right now and having the time to do it, I'm just going to go ahead and do it, but
like you said, you're pushing for something. So I think that what you're doing, that's true. You have an end goal. So I think for you, it's kind of like, I'm a huge Kobe fan, so just take on that Mamba mentality, and go ahead and knock those out, and you gotta kind of forget about the, all the hard work that you're putting in. Just take it day by day and knock it out.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I'm doing it because, as you said, like I might be burnt out, but this is like a marathon,
right? For sure,
right? And it's like when you get to that last, what's a marathon? I think half marathon is 13.1, so 26.2, right? So you get to that last couple of miles, you got to push through, right? And I feel like at this point I'm getting towards the end of my military career and that marathon, and I just need to continue to push through the tape.
Time to get your second win.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I get done with these certifications, I do feel like I'll be done. But I also felt like that when I got my CISSP, and now look at me. Right. So it's certification burnout is a real thing. I think just trying to chase that cat.
Okay. No, I understand what you're saying. I understand.
Trying to chase that goal, right?
Right. That we all know the goal.
Right. So. But yeah, I think it's a thing, and then you have to do your job on top of that. Right. So, but yeah, man, those are my thoughts.
Right. So I mean, I like I said, man, I understand the burnout, but like I said, I think we need to. If you're all out there, you feel like you're going through the same things, you got to push through. Shout out to Kobe. We're gonna have the Mamba mentality and kind of just keep grinding it. But I want to thank you guys. I want you to like, comment, and subscribe. Definitely give us your opinion, and check us out again. That's just my tech sense.
All right, we'll talk to y'all.
Good.